guys, and welcome back to another video. I just received a notification that we've hit 500 subscribers, and honestly I couldn't be more thankful to you guys for constantly supporting me throughout this journey. Thank you so much if you have subscribed, and I really genuinely appreciate you. And yeah, I just wanted to start this video by saying thank you. This video is going to be all about my struggle with weight gain, the plateau phase of it, and the weight loss and how it finally happened. I'm going to take you through it step by step. I just hope that this video sort of helps you guys out by letting you know that all of us face these sort of situations in life, and no matter how hard, no matter like how long you've been stagnant at a certain weight, you will be able to break out of it. And I have documented this journey, so I may be popping up some videos and photos from time to time so that you all sort of understand how I looked at that point, how I felt at that point. So anyone who's been following me on Instagram for a while now knows that 2019 was not the best year for me in terms of how I looked, how I felt. So I just want to sort of tell you all where this whole weight gain thing started, how it even happened. September 2018 was when I set on my MBA journey. So start of September 2018, I was sitting at about 53 kg. And my height is 153 centimeters. I'm 5'1", and that was like a rather comfortable weight for me. So when my MBA journey started, we were to spend 4 months in Dubai. The master's degree started, and it was a hectic course, I'm not gonna lie, so there was always something that we had to do. But even then I was working out regularly, like resistance training, like weightlifting, for at least like 4 times a week. But the one thing that I wasn't doing was like tracking my meals and seeing how much I was eating. So prior to my MBA, I always lived at home, apart from like 1 year at a hostel. So since I was at home, I always had the privilege of having ghar ka khana, and then that was taken away. And that's why I sort of I think because there were so many like delicious options around, and Dubai is this place where you can order food at like 2 a.m. and still have it delivered home. So it was very easy to go off track there, and in my head I was like, it's okay, like I'm working out really hard, and I can't be eating all that much, right? So that was my mindset. And yeah, my focus at that point really wasn't like what I was eating. I was just really enjoying myself. So then yeah, in Dubai I didn't really check how like my weight was going, where it was going. I didn't really focus on that too much. And then in January 2019 we moved to Sydney. So the next leg of this course was in Sydney for another 4 months. So Jan 2019 was when I stepped on that scale, and I saw that I had reached 56 kgs. So I was up by around 3 kgs since Dubai. And I was, at that point it didn't affect me that much, because I was like, yeah, it's okay. And the thing is, thankfully the people around me were like just super nice. I had no sort of toxic elements in my life at that point to make me feel like, oh my god, like look at you, look at what's happening. There was nothing of that sort, right? And we all lived together, and it was just such a great journey. Sydney was an amazing experience. We'd just be enjoying ourselves. The gym in Sydney was only about maybe 50 meters away, okay? It was walking distance. And that's why when I saw that, okay, I'm moving away from my goal, I'm not moving towards it, that's when, instead of watching what I was eating, I started working out harder, or I started like being really critical about how often I would go to the gym. So I increased my frequency. And when it came to food, I tried sort of watching what I was eating. But the thing about tracking is, unless you have like a food scale and you're actually weighing out like everything you're eating, it's very easy to underestimate your portions. That is what I sort of struggled with. And at the same time, I didn't even know what my true maintenance calories were. So I felt like I was eating in a deficit, but actually I was eating in a surplus. And even that workout regimen was not able to create that deficit for me. So I remember so clearly, I think it was Feb 2019, when I was working out at the gym with Tarun, and I put up like this picture, okay, on my Instagram story. And I didn't think too much of it. I was wearing these white marble leggings that I have, and you could see that I put on a little bit of weight around my midsection. So that's where I generally hold my fat, but I still felt like the photo was fine, right? So I just put it up, and that's when the first negative comment sort of came my way, and it really hit me. So I got a DM actually from somebody I know, and she was clearly, that DM was not meant for me. She was probably trying to forward that story to another friend of hers to talk about how much I had put on. And it was just a one-liner, and she was like, oh my god, dude, like look at her, like look at how much weight she's put on. It was something like this in Marathi, and I saw that, and you know, at that moment I just responded and I was like, oh really? Because she didn't even realize that she sent it to me instead of her friend. But like, okay, I laughed it off at that point. We all did. I told my friends, we all laughed about it, but I didn't realize how hard it hit me. It really affected my mindset, because I had already known that I'm sort of putting on weight, so my confidence was already dipping. And then, like, you know, when you hear people say these things about you, and I knew that that was supposed to go on behind my back, but because it had been exposed, I realized that, oh, now people notice, you know. And I try not to let that affect me, like, yeah, people will always have something negative to say about you, but I knew that I was getting out of control and I didn't know what to do to stop it. So then, yeah, throughout Sydney, I think I just sort of increased the frequency of my workouts. My intensity was really high out, and I was doing really well in terms of my strength. So I've had some of my heaviest lifts in Sydney. And then in May 2019, we moved to Singapore for the last leg of this journey. And once we came to Singapore, I remember we didn't have any kitchen in our hostel, and that's why we would always have to eat out. And then, like, it's really hard to sort of stay on track with your meals. I remember I even sort of opted for this meal service, okay, that this fit meal service, and they used to get me like grilled vegetables and like salmon or chicken breast and all that. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's very far away from like what I'm used to eating or what I enjoy eating. So I did that for like 2 weeks and I was like, bus, I can't do this, okay. And then again, I was just like, okay, let me focus on my training. So my training throughout this 1 year, I did not fall off track. I was on point with my training, okay. I think around, yeah, end of August or something. So May we went to Singapore. End of August we had like our farewell in my master's course. And I remember stepping on a scale after a while of not checking, because I was so terrified to check. I stepped on that scale in the gym and I saw 60.2 kgs. And that was my breaking point. Because for someone who's so tiny, that was the heaviest I've ever weighed in my entire life. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm working out, I'm watching what I eat. How is this happening to me? So I felt like, you know, ever since I started my fitness journey in 2016, I've just come one complete circle. I've come back to square one. And in fact, I felt worse than that. I felt much worse than I did at the start of my journey. And I was like, how did I let myself get here? You know, I started bashing myself. And then I remember so clearly clicking pictures during the farewell and not uploading like 90% of these pictures because I hated the way I looked in it. Like, I looked at myself in these pictures and I went like, that's not me. That doesn't look like me. I've never looked like this. You know, it was not a good mindset at all. My confidence was at rock bottom.
Yeah, guys, today is the 26th of August 2019, and I just wanted to record this as hopefully a starting point. Right now I weigh about 59 kg, as in it's fluctuating between 58.5 to 60, so I'm guessing it's around 59. And for someone who's 5'1", this is a very heavy weight. This is the heaviest I've ever been, and I don't like it. Obviously my body has changed a lot, and I'm sure it's been quite evident to everyone who's been following me on social media. And yeah, it does get really depressing. It has affected my confidence. It's just really hard, but I decided that there's only two ways I can deal with this: is either work hard and try getting back into shape, or just give up. So obviously I'm going to do the first one, and I'm on my way to the gym right now.
And then guess what happened? My worst nightmare. I plateaued for a good 3 months, and that's when it got even more frustrating, right? I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I not losing weight?
So today is the 5th of September, and I have been sort of regularly incorporating cardio over the last few weeks, but I just started work this week and it's really hectic. Obviously, it does get a little bit harder to stay on track, but there are positives out of this weight gain as well, because I did manage to sort of gain a bit of muscle mass, and I'm happy about that. But apart from that, evidently there's a lot of fat. There've been many times when I was very negative, and it's really depressing because for myself to look at me in the mirror and not like it anymore, I started feeling like everything I've ever done, all these years of working out, it just felt like it all went down the drain. Putting on like 8 to 10 kgs is a lot for my small frame. And that happened very quickly, but now I'm just sort of focusing on getting all that off without obviously doing a drastic diet or just going all out with a workout plan that I can't sustain. I know it's going to take time, and I'm willing to put in that time. And hopefully whenever you guys see this clip, I'll have gotten to where I really want to go.
And because the thing is that at one point I told myself that I'd become way too comfortable with my own style of training. It's like I'd been training for so long a certain way that I almost needed like an external person to come and guide me. I needed a coach. I needed something different, like something wasn't working and we needed it to change. So in December, I remember I was on the phone with one of my very good friends, and he told me that back in my college he heard some girls talking about me and they didn't have very nice things to say, and these girls used to follow me for like fitness motivation or whatever, and now they were just like, yeah, like dude, like she's put on so much weight, like what fitness, like no one even looks up to her anymore. And I understand where it's coming from, right? Like if you look at somebody who's following a fit lifestyle and then you suddenly see them put on so much weight, you're going to be like, yeah, why should I even follow someone who can't take their own advice? But these kind of comments from these people, that now these people were strangers, okay, so it isn't supposed to matter, but it did. And I'm so blessed to have these friends who stand up for me, because my friend just went like, hey, but have you noticed like her strength gains? Have you seen the progress she's made there? And even for that matter, the people around me never made me feel bad about how I looked or how much weight I put on. It was just in my head, and it was not a good space. Like I really got into this dark space mentally. It wasn't good. Like I think it's so easy for us to just pass these comments out, but you don't realize how much it affects somebody who already knows what's going on and is trying their best but still isn't seeing results. When you have already plateaued and you are putting in so much effort every single day, and then you hear these things, it's not good, right? So mid-December, I signed up with a coach online, and she gave me a training program that was completely out of my comfort zone, and my macros were also tweaked by a fair amount. Like I was eating much more than I should have. And then like December 2019, like mid-December is when I decided, I'm going to have this mission in my head, okay? It's going to be Mission 2020, and I'm going to turn my life around. So I had a few goals that I'd set. One was obviously weight loss, right? I had to, more than weight loss, it was fat loss. Like I was at 33% body fat, okay? And technically that is like stage 1 obesity. It's not a good percentage to be at. So I remember New Year's Eve dancing away to the fireworks at Siloso Beach in Singapore, and I told myself that come what may, I'm going to turn my life around. By the end of January 2020, I had already dropped 3 kg, so I was down to 57 kgs with this new workout, with these new macros which I was tracking to the T. Like the amount of consistency I had over that 1 month, like it was insane. I was tracking every single thing and I was completing all the workouts given to me, and they were intense. But I couldn't have any excuses. Like there are no excuses, guys. Like if you really want to achieve something, it's going to be very difficult, but you've got to go out there and put in the work. So yeah, end of Jan, I was sitting at about 57 kgs, and I was happy because I hadn't seen 57 since Sydney, right? Like since Jan 2018. So I was like, okay, fine, things are going in the right direction. And then end of Jan, I had my convocation in Dubai. So we went back there. We were there for another 2 weeks. We sort of extended our stay there. And then At that point I wasn't watching what I was eating, because I'm like, oh, I'm in Dubai, it's fine, I'm not gonna, like, this is a trip that's not gonna happen again in the near future. So I enjoyed myself, I had my shawarmas, workouts were down to zero pretty much. Yeah, I was just, it was like vacation mode for me, so I was enjoying myself, and in my head I knew, I had my mindset prepared that once I go back to Singapore, there is, my weight might not be the same. And it wasn't. I came back in Feb and I was at 58.5, right? So 1.5 kgs up and down, but fluctuations happen all the time. And at this point, after breaking that plateau, I knew that I could do it. Like, breaking that plateau was the turning point for me. That's when I told myself that, you know what, I'm gonna go out there and get this. And at the same time in Jan, that's when I decided that I wanted to be a coach, that I wanted to really be equipped with knowledge to be able to help not just myself but other people. So that was another goal of mine. And today, as I sit to talk to you guys about this journey, it's unbelievable that I've hit those milestones, you know. And also I'm at a point right now where I can sort of make this video for y'all and tell y'all how I lost that weight. So it's a really great moment for me. So on the last day in Dubai, I remember sitting with Tarun and one more of my very good friends, Danny, and I had the worst meltdown that I have ever had in my life. Like, I didn't even know I was capable of having that kind of a meltdown. I wasn't in a good place mentally.
Hi guys. So today is the 8th of Feb 2020. I'm in Singapore. I'm in my gym right now, and lately I've been struggling with a lot of like body image issues, like to the point where I actually broke down recently, and it's not doing me any good, which is why I thought that it's high time I sort of be a little kind to myself. But it's really hard. So this is what I look like right now. I am very, very bloated right now. You can see all this extra, you know, I'm just very soft. And then whenever I came back to Singapore, and then I kept working out, I kept tracking my macros. 2nd of March, I actually moved back to India. So once I came back, unfortunately, the lockdown was imposed quite quickly, like within a couple of weeks after I came back. So I only went to the gym near my house twice. That's it. And then everything shut. At this point, I was at 58.1 kg. So at this point, I went on Amazon and I purchased this scale. Okay, it's by ActiveX Australia, and it's a smart weighing scale. So this scale doesn't only measure your weight, but it has 11 other parameters. So it helps me measure my body fat percentage, my BMI, my skeletal mass, my muscle mass, my visceral fat, my metabolic age, etc. So all these factors are really, really important in like sort of understanding where you're going, because when you are losing weight, you don't want to end up losing all your muscle, right? You want to focus on like fat loss. So I got that scale and I started measuring my weight, my body fat percentage, and my BMI every single day. Like, I wrote these figures down every single day, and I've been doing that for the last 3.5 months. 3.5 months of consistency. I just sort of followed the calories that I needed to eat, right? I just followed that. Whatever was given by my coach, I sustained that for the first 2 months that I was in India. In the first 2 months itself, I lost 4 kgs. And mind you, I've not been eating like low carb, high protein, low fat, nothing of that sort. In fact, I've not really tracked my macros at all. I've just been focusing on like my overall calories. And there's no such thing as, you know, you can't achieve your goals while you're eating your dal chawal and roti sabji, because that's all I had for the last 3.5 months. I've just had home food. So I have actually followed a high carb diet with, I would say, moderate protein, moderate fat. There's been nothing from outside, right? So the quarantine actually came as like a blessing in disguise for me. And at the same time, when it came to my workouts, I think I had like a change in mindset where I was like, okay, I don't have a gym, I can't be doing weightlifting, what can I do? So then I just switched to high intensity interval training. I just started doing HIIT around 20-25 minutes about 4 or 5 times a week, and that's it. That's all my workouts have been like. When it comes to resistance training, I do have a glute band. These last like 100 days. I've used it only twice or thrice, because when it comes to resistance training, I'm used to a certain amount of stress that I put on my body, but
that isn't available right now. So the next best thing, I was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to lose some muscle, but I'm also going to lose fat. Let me just do HIIT. It was something that I sort of came back to after a very long time, and it has proved amazing for me. Like, it's been magical. And today I am at 52.3 kg, which is 8 kilos down from where I plateaued back in August 2019. And today it's not about how I look, but it's really about how I feel. I'm so much more confident. I'm fitting into clothes again, yeah? Like clothes that I thought I was going to give away. So I think what I want to say is, if you've hit a plateau, then I highly recommend you invest in yourself. Get yourself a coach who can guide you through it, because honestly, I thought I could do it by myself. I couldn't. I needed the support, and it did wonders for me. So here are my before and after pictures. Right, so summarizing what I did over the last 4 months, I stopped following my previous macro split. I just kept my overall calories the same. Like, I actually weighed out my food properly for the first 2 months, and then I started eyeballing portions. So after the first 2 months, in which I lost close to 4.5-5 kg, that's the point where I started feeling really hungry. And at this point, I actually increased my calories. So it's not like, you have to keep going in a deficit until you're starving yourself. My hunger increased. I actually increased my calories gradually by about 100 to 200 calories every single day, and I was still losing weight. Like, almost all my food was whole food, and I think that really made a difference. Second, in terms of my training, I switched to HIIT. I did HIIT religiously for 4 to 5 times a week. Initially, when I started HIIT again, I hated it. I was like, oh my god, this is just too draining. That's where discipline sort of came in, and I was like, at the end of this workout, I'm gonna feel amazing. Just do it. 20 minutes, it's gonna pass like this, right? And then I started enjoying my workouts. I started making my own HIIT sessions and sharing it with you guys. So as I lost weight, not only did my confidence increase, but my performance increased like crazy. Like, the workouts that I was struggling to get through in month 1, it was so easy by month 3, by month 4. So I think that was great as well, to see like the difference in what my body can do. Like, when you are heavier, it's much harder to do things, to move around. And now it's easier for me, and I love that. I did HIIT about like 90% of the times, and then 10% I did resistance training. And the most important thing that I did was I stayed consistent and I stayed patient. It's not been easy for me to see myself at my heaviest, see that for 3 months before seeing any change, even though I felt like I was doing everything right. Once I sort of got a coach, I was like, okay, you know what? I've got guidance. I'm going to do this. Here I am today, yielding the fruits of it. And I'm not saying my journey is complete. It's only begun, right? But it put me through an emotional roller coaster. I really did it for myself, because I wasn't comfortable where I was. I wasn't comfortable at that weight. I wasn't comfortable at that body fat percentage. I didn't feel like myself. I wasn't happy, and I needed something to change. And so I did. My confidence has increased like 10 times. My happiness levels are like, I'm just such a happy person now. Also, in terms of my weight, even though I did lose 8 kgs, the change in my muscle mass has only been 2 kgs. So I've lost only 2 kg of muscle, which, I mean, I shouldn't be saying only, but comparatively, I have lost a great amount of fat. So from all the graphs that I see on my on the app that came along with my weighing scale, I can clearly see a difference. I can clearly see a drop in my body fat percentage. So I really hope this video has helped you in some way. I hope it's motivated you and sort of just put out this message that nothing is impossible. Like, you can overcome whatever life throws at you, as long as you stay consistent and you stay patient. There are no shortcuts in fitness, and I guess if you really want to make a change, then you need to get into the right mindset. Tell yourself that, hey, you know what, this is going to be a long journey, but it's going to be worth it. Because when you sort of take a step back thinking, oh my god, no, but this is going to take too much time, well, guess what, that time's going to pass anyway. I really hope that whatever it is that you want in life, whatever goal you hope to achieve in your life, I hope that you work towards it and you smash that goal, because nothing feels better than working in silence and letting those results speak for themselves. Alright guys, so this brings me to the end of this video. If you liked it, please do give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also hit the bell notifications button so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I will see you in the next video. Bye!